everyone, welcome to my channel today. Before the video starts, I just want to give a big shout out to you. I know that you watching my videos is taking time out of your week for my channel, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. This is a whole big learning process for me. I'm on my 14th, 13th video this week, and each video I feel like I'm incorporating and trying new things, and so I just want you to know that I really appreciate you being here. And without further ado, let's start the show. Thanks. So this is a painting video, my friends. I didn't do any painting in the last video, and my commitment to do 100 tiny paintings this year, so now I have to make up for what I didn't do. So I am look, there you go, look at all those paintings, they're starting to rack up. So believe it or not, I'm still using the same tape. I think this is the last time I'm going to be able to use this tape and take it off and put it back on. It's losing its stickiness. So, but I've tried to conserve it. It's expensive, and so I've just tried to reuse it as many times as possible. So here I'm just using a previous picture to, instead of using a ruler and measuring it out, just using a previous picture and marking it down. So in this video, I am painting a variety of seashells. And seashells are in abundance in Puerto Rico. So when I chose brain coral to paint, it's kind of a challenging piece to paint for watercolor, because when you look at it, there is a lot of white that is shown, but really there's not. I mean, your eye automatically thinks of it as white, but it's really not. So the first thing I did was lay in a background color, and then I'm going in, what I'm doing is going in and painting these little folds that are in the brain coral. And then you'll see me continue to do that and add more definition, trying to leave the whole time the outlinings that is the whiter, brighter color. So this is just a lot of repetitiveness, doing the same thing over and over again on this shape. So I don't know if I'd paint this again, but it's an experiment. This is kind of a side-by-side of the same thing. Also, as you are looking at this, when I'm painting it, I'm looking at it from across it, not straight down on it. So when you're doing the side-by-side comparison, it's coming from a different angle. But it was a process, and it was fun. Actually did it a couple of times, and I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably do it a little differently. But that's the fun of doing these little sketches. You get to learn as you go. So the shell that I'm holding right here is a conch shell, and more specifically, it's a juvenile conch shell, and they are typical in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico. They usually have that kind of really pastel-y pink on the inside, which is what I'm doing right here, and then the strata that's along the outside, and then the spiralness, which is really fun too. When my granddaughter was here, both of my granddaughters, we would hold the little shells to our ears and try and hear the ocean, you know, even though the ocean is right outside the door. My first watercolor teacher told me that my painting will only be as good as my sketch. And I don't know if that's why I always include a lot of detail, but it really helps give me some direction. And here I'm just kind of sizing up the conch and looking at which way things spiral. So it's helpful for the lines.
조금씩 자리 잡은 널 느낄 때면 괜히 잠을 설치고 괜한 이유로 내게 연락해 매번 같은 실수를 반복해 이런 마음이 익숙지 않아 끝없이 생각에 빠져 허우적거릴 뿐이야 Why don't you make me smile Why don't you tell me your heart 이 순간만큼은 내게 말해줘 You're my baby Tell me now 이제 매일 같은 시간 속에 나 이 자리에서 돌아오지 않는 너의 메아리를 기다려 Let me know if you have the same feeling as I do 자꾸만 마주칠 때 스치는 너의 그 시선이 떨어지는 방법을 모르는 저기의 저 별과 같아 어쩌면 난 먼 길을 바라보려는 건 아닐까 주저한 우린 언젠가 길을 잃을 텐데 Why don't you make me smile Why don't you tell me your heart 이 순간만큼은 내게 말해줘 You're my baby Tell me now 이제 매일 같은 시간 속에
So here you can see that I'm adding some depth to the pink rose hue, and I'm going to blend this out so it has a nice shadow to it, even adding some burnt umber up in the corner there to add some more depth. And then I just go back with a dry brush with no paint on it. I would say not dry, but moist, So I'm getting the brush wet and then pulling off the moisture with the paper towel, and then just kind of swirling my brush around and pulling off some of the paint and softening the edges. So this shell is called a turban shell, and it has this really thick, heavy shell with somewhat like rounded turban shape. It has a wide, smooth opening, and then a dull white base color with dark, splotchy markings. So I've begun with a wet, just plain water covering the surface, and then I am going in with some warmth. I mean, as you look at the shell, it's really fun to look at these shells, because when your eye first sees the shells, it's just like, oh, okay, this is a black and white shell, but there are so many colors, especially with the shadows. And when you're holding it up to the light through the window, I can see turquoise in it, I can see lavender. So it's so fun to just start pulling these colors out. And then, you know, like most paintings kind of have an ugly phase before it's done in the end, and I just kind of liked every phase of this shell when I was painting it. I thought it was fun to paint. Again, remember that your angle that you're looking at the shell is different from the angle that I see the shell. So I'm looking across it, and it's the shadowing and my perception of it is very different. So I'm watching this video as I'm doing the voice recording, and I'm looking at it from this angle, and I'm like, wow, it's very different from this angle, but nonetheless, it's still fun and was still very fun to paint. I'm really thankful that I paint watercolor and acrylics, because often I'll look at something and I'll be like, that's totally an acrylic painting. That's what I would choose to paint that subject in. But with this shell, I feel like this would be really fun for acrylic or for watercolor. So here I'm just putting in some of the last colors, blending out the lines, and the shell is getting close to being done, and I really like the way it turned out. I thought it was really fun. Oh, I remember, before I am finished, I'm taking some gouache. And gouache is kind of fun because shells do have that opalescence to them, and so it's fun to add some of that back into it, just for a little shimmer and a little highlight. Okay, so the last shell that I'm going to be painting today is an oyster shell, and this shell is irregular and rough and like typical oysters, which cement themselves to the rocks or even to each other. But this one has like kind of a flat, curved shape with little layered ridges on the exterior. And then the inside has it's concave and slightly shiny. And then it has some pearlescence in some places. So I'll probably be using the gouache in the end. And then maybe I'm looking at some little areas where it may have remnants of the muscle scars. But the shell is, different oyster shells will look different according to where you are. So if you're up in the northeastern part of the United States, those oyster shells look very different than the ones down here, or the ones in the northern west Pacific area. So these shells don't tend to be very deep, and I've seen them used sometimes with wax and wicks. I often will use mine to sit next to my bed for my vitamin or my thyroid pill that I take in the morning, or I've got them in the bathroom and I'll sit my earrings in them when I take my earrings out. But I love these oyster shells. I have them all over my house. I think they're really pretty, and when I find them, I pick them up. I think they're a little treasure. It's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. Ooh, we are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. Drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, 'cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so
So
free.
I think about right now, I'm going to be taking my hand right there and feeling the temperature of the paper to see if it's cool. And if it's cool, it's still wet. And when you, so it must be fairly warm, which means dry. So gouache, unless it's coming straight out of the tube, it really fades. It does not, it like loses its opaqueness. And it's really fun to use, but it seems like with the white that I'm always squirting out more on my palette, because once you add water back into it, instead of it just coming straight from the tube, it's never quite as opaque. And you'll see, like right now, I like this look, but this is gonna dry, and you can see that it's already starting to turn a little on the bluer side, and it's losing its bright whiteness, and it'll just continue to do that. And so I could just take some out of the tube, but I do kind of decide that I like the blend, so it's not such a strong difference between the inside of my shell and what's going on the edges. So, but this is fun.
My wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free. Oh, my sweet baby.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking, the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. I'm gonna let the past be filled with smoke, and I will try to fix what has been broken. And take this
One last attempt to add a little bit of brightness, and I think this is about done, but I like this one. I think the starting off with the wet palette, or with wet paper, sorry, and then letting the colors marry together in the bottom of the shell. So there you have it. Got my 3 or 4 different kinds of sea life, and thank you for joining today, and thank you again for liking, subscribing, hitting that bell, and following, and I'll see you next week.